What I'm about to tell you will make you deeply uncomfortable. It may make you hate me. I'm 84 years old, my body is giving out, and I refuse to die with this secret rotting inside me. For 10 years, 10 deliberate, calculated years, I lived a complete double life. A second home, a second man who loved me, a second set of grandchildren who called me their own. My real family had absolutely no idea. Not a whisper, not a clue. Until the day a DNA test kit ordered by my 18-year-old granddaughter tore the entire facade apart. That day did not break our family. It obliterated it. And the person left standing alone in the rubble was me. I was 51 years old when I met Harold. My husband of 22 years, Bernard, was a good and faithful man. But I want to be honest with you in a way I was never honest with the people who deserved it most. I was suffocating. The children were grown and gone. The house was enormous and silent. And I had slowly, invisibly disappeared inside those walls. I baked birthday cakes and hosted Thanksgiving dinners and ironed Bernard's shirts every Sunday night without being asked. And somewhere in all of that service, I had completely lost track of who Eleanor was. That emptiness, that hollow, echoing emptiness, was the crack in the wall that Harold walked straight through. Harold found me at a church fundraiser. The irony has never been lost on me. He was charming in a way I had forgotten men could be. Silver-haired, broad-shouldered, with a voice like warm honey. He looked at me directly, not through me, not past me, like I was the most interesting person in the room. It had been so long since anyone had looked at me like that. Within 3 months, we were meeting in secret weekly. I told Bernard I had joined a book club. A book club. Lord forgive me. By the second year, Harold had rented a small stone cottage 40 miles from our family home. He had window boxes with flowers and a wood-burning fireplace. And I had a key, sitting right there on my keychain beside my house key and my car key. I began spending entire weekends there. I told my children I was visiting a terminally ill friend named Margaret who needed company. Margaret did not exist. I invented her entirely. My daughter Patricia cried for Margaret. She baked casseroles and sent them with me. I brought those casseroles to Harold's cottage and we ate them by the fire together. That is the level of the lie I was living. Then came the moment that changed everything. 2 years in, Harold told me he had a daughter named Cecilia from a previous relationship. She was pregnant and struggling. He asked me to be a maternal presence for her. I said yes, and I do not know what I was thinking. I drove 40 miles from my own family and held Cecilia's newborn baby in a hospital room, weeping with genuine joy. Real, unperformed tears. And that is what has haunted me for 30 years. Because that joy was completely real. I felt it in my bones. Over the following decade, I became Grandma Ellie to 3 of Harold's grandchildren, Rose and then the twins Sam and Oliver. I attended their birthday parties and their Christmas mornings. I knitted them blankets with my own hands. I sat in the front row at Rose's first piano recital and cried with pride. By any honest measure, I was more present and emotionally available for those 3 children than I ever managed to be for my own real grandchildren. That truth is a blade that has never stopped cutting. My real family noticed I had changed, but not in the way you'd expect. Patricia told me more than once, "Mom, you seem so much lighter lately. Keep going to that book club." Bernard simply seemed relieved. He had watched me drift through our home like a ghost for years, and now there was color in my cheeks again. He never suspected. Not because he was foolish, but because he trusted me completely. And I used that beautiful, unconditional trust as a weapon against him every single day for 10 years. Bernard died in 2009. A heart attack on a cold Tuesday morning. He was 69 years old. I was at Harold's cottage when Patricia called. I watched my phone ring 17 times before I answered. By the time I drove the 40 miles back, Bernard had already been taken away. I never got to hold his hand. I never said goodbye to my husband of 30 years, the faithful man who trusted me completely, because I was with another man in that cottage. There is nothing I can confess in the time I have left that will come close to the weight of that single fact. After Bernard was gone, I told myself I would end it with Harold 3 separate times. I drove to the cottage and rehearsed the speech in my head the entire 40 miles. But each time I walked through that door, Rose ran to me with her arms outstretched, yelling, "Grandma Ellie!" And I would think, not today. Next time. There was always a next time, until there wasn't. The secret unraveled in the most modern and merciless way possible. My granddaughter Emma, Patricia's daughter, 18 years old and brilliant, ordered a consumer DNA test kit for a school genealogy project. When the results came back, they included family matches she didn't recognize. Names attached to a family tree that branched somewhere it had no business branching. Within 2 weeks of late-night research, cross-referencing names and social media photographs, she had pieced together almost everything. She found photographs of me at Rose's birthday party, at the twins' school play. Standing in Harold's garden with my arm around a man her family had never been told existed. Emma came to me first, and I will always be grateful for that small mercy, even if I didn't deserve it. She sat across from my kitchen table and placed a printed family tree in front of me without a word. I looked at those names: Harold, Cecilia, Rose, Sam, Oliver. Names I had whispered like secret prayers for a decade. And I broke completely. I confessed everything to my 18-year-old granddaughter before I could stop myself. I watched the light leave her eyes as I spoke. She stood up slowly, folded the paper, and walked out without a word. She went straight to her mother. When Margaret turned 31, I sat her down and I told her everything. I showed her photos of Raymond, her real father. I told her about the cottage, the book club lies, all of it. She listened without interrupting me once. When I finished, she stood up, walked to the window, and was silent for a very long time. Then she turned around and she said, "I always felt like I didn't belong. I always felt like something was wrong with me. And it wasn't me at all, was it, Mum? It was you." She walked out of my house and we did not speak for 3 years. Margaret came back to me eventually. She is in her 40s now and she has found her own peace. She had a DNA test done. She tracked down Raymond's living relatives, a nephew and 2 cousins. And she has built a quiet relationship with them. She tells me it has helped her feel whole. My other children, Thomas, Louise, and Peter, they have forgiven me in their own complicated ways. But forgiveness and trust are not the same thing. And I understand that now in a way I never did when I was young and selfish and so consumed by my own need to be loved. I am 84 years old. I have late-stage heart failure. My doctor has told me, with great kindness, that I am in my final chapter. And so I am here, telling you what I told my children too late and what I should have told myself at 47, standing in that antique shop, that you cannot build a real life on a foundation of lies. Not even beautiful lies. Not even loving ones. The weight of what I carried did not only crush me, it crushed every single person I claimed to love. That is the truth I leave behind. That is the only confession I have left to make. If there is one person watching this who is living a secret, who is hiding a love, hiding a child, hiding a version of themselves from the people who trust them most, please hear an old woman who has paid every price there is to pay. The truth is an act of love. Even when it is devastating. Even when it destroys the very thing you were trying to protect. Because the alternative is this: dying with the faces of your children looking at you not with love, but with the permanent shadow of a question they can never fully answer. Who were you really? Don't let that be your ending, please. I have carried this story for most of my adult life. I have watched it damage people I would have died for. And now at 84, with the time I have left measured in months rather than years, all I can do is speak the truth out loud and hope that it means something to someone. If my confession touched your heart, if it made you feel something, think something, reconsider something, please give this video a like. And please subscribe to this channel because there are more stories like mine. Real, raw, honest confessions from people who have lived long enough to know what truly matters. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for letting an old woman finally be heard.